Snapchat Spotlight. $1 million per day paid to creators. Probably the coolest news so far this year. Snapchat released spotlights in November of 2020, but it is really just now surfacing, and such an incredible innovation for inclusive stakeholding, for inclusive equity for creators. Ultimately, the platforms that serve the creators the most, especially inclusively with tokens, with equity, with ownership, with financial incentives and rewards, those are going to be the platforms that win. And so, of course, you see this increase in the share price from $20 a share in August of 2020 to now in February of 2021, it's up to $60 per share. Here you can see over here in August, it's at 20 a share. And then it jumps up to about 30 or so in October. But then boom, right when it's publishing the spotlights, it's going up 2x and now up to 3x. And that's huge. And it's only going to continue increasing going forward if it does this innovation with a high degree of efficacy and true service to the creator community. And it depends on how long it's going to take TikTok and Instagram Reels and even YouTube and Twitter, etc., to figure out how to compete like this. Twitter is trying to compete with Twitter Spaces with Clubhouse, which has its own unique feature in the media space, but there's nothing quite that is as cool and financially incentivized for creators to make cool content that then gets rewarded like this. This is it. It's all about inclusive stakeholding. It's all about inclusive equity. That means that the creators themselves are gaining a stake. They're gaining equity in the success of their creations. They're getting financial rewards, which is huge. Now, downstream, there might be things like Snapchat actually delivering tokens of ownership to the creator community as well, which would be massive. And so the platforms that identify these key innovations around inclusive stakeholding, inclusive equity, financial incentives, goal congruence that's aligned, where if you think about the example with Amazon, when you call the customer service at Amazon, boom, immediately you have someone on the phone. Boom, immediately they're helping you solve your problem, and boom, in a couple minutes, you're off the phone. Best customer service around. Now, as a creator on the YouTube platform, when you have an issue on the YouTube platform, 0% chance, unless you're in the 10 million plus subscriber mark, will you actually be able to contact anybody. The maybe 0.5% chance is if you email the creator support team a dozen times, and then maybe you get 0.5% chance that they'll reply to you if you have under especially 100,000 subscribers. And so TikTok is similarly, we've had Connor Sherry on the show who had almost 1 million followers on TikTok, and that he could not get in touch with TikTok when they began throttling and shadow banning his content and making it so that he couldn't go as viral anymore. And that similar problems are occurring across social platforms, the vast majority of them, where you can't actually get a hold of anybody that works at the company to solve the problem that you want to accomplish getting solved. So the future for creators is, especially if Snapchat, along with the innovation with this purse that then becomes shared every single day, that if you add to that the beautiful relationship from somebody that works at Snapchat with these creators that are succeeding on the platform, if you create a better relationship between the medium and those that engineer and design the medium with the creators that create on it, boom, it's game over. That's the way to win these massive social media wars that are happening in the attention economy. The pie, in terms of the amount of hours of waking human attention, is limited. There's about 120 billion or so hours of waking human attention per day, because people are awake about 16 hours a day and sleep the other 8, and there's 8 billion or so humans. And what's happening is that the social media platforms are in a competition for our attention, because they want us to be on their platform so that they can make the advertising revenue, so that they can raise their stock price. And that's why you have the Instagram Reels that immediately copied the TikTok phenomenon that was happening. And that's why now Snapchat Spotlight is not only copying that, but also saying, bitch, we're going to make a fucking purse, a daily $1 million purse for the top creators on the platform, and we're going to pay them out within a month. And so we'll get to that in more detail here in a bit. This is the key, paying out creators. Ultimately, it's about what is going to make creators the happiest. What is the most inclusive stakeholding? Again, this is competing with TikTok and Instagram Reels. Snapchat has 250 million daily active users, DAU. I would not be surprised if that number went up by 100 million within even just the next couple of months of people around the planet that are getting a whiff of these big purses that they can potentially gain access to daily. So we're going to show a demo of this as well on the device. And so the general payout works this way. Daily, approximately the top 100 or so creators with the most popularly viewed spotlights are going to get paid a range from anywhere from, if you're the number one spotlight of that day, if you have over 1 million views on your spotlight, and the algorithm works a lot like TikTok's does. So if you watch the spotlight, and if you watch it all the way through and it loops to the beginning again, and you keep watching it, then the algorithm is going to send that spotlight video into more people's queues that are on the spotlight feed. That's generally how the algorithm works. And so that's why people are starting to realize that when they make these TikToks and when they make these Instagram Reels and when they make the Snapchat Spotlights, what they're trying to do is they're trying to put a unique gem inside of it that then makes people want to watch it again and maybe even pause it and analyze it. And even in TikTok, you can like and share it, but there's no liking and sharing on the Snapchat Spotlights yet. And that's really interesting, that phenomenon. And we'll see sort of where that goes. But so there's a spectrum of getting paid where approximately $100,000 for the number one slot, where you get maybe over 1 million views. And then if you're in the number 100 slot at the bottom, you get paid the least, maybe about $1,000. Can you imagine just making a Snapchat Spotlight and getting $1,000 after a month of going through the verification process and whatnot? And so this is what is really exciting for people. Now, you can only submit every 5 minutes to the Snapchat Spotlight. So people are submitting somewhere around 100 times a day if they're really going hardcore at it, because I believe the max you can submit is 192 times a day if you sleep 8 hours. We'll get to that also in a bit. So this means that Snapchat is spending $365 million per year, which is nothing. That is literally chump change. That's literally nothing. If you think about it, that means it's like $1 billion every 3 years that they're spending. And that means that if Snapchat did this for 100 years, they would only spend like $35 billion. That's nothing. For 100 years to spend $35 billion, which is like a third of the net worth of Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, that's a hilarious joke. Because you can imagine that they're going to be grossing way more than $365 million per year from advertising. So Snapchat is making way more than $1 million per day in ad revenue. And then what they're doing is they're just distributing that back to creators. And this is very much like the Uber approach of bulldozing to domination, where you say, we're going to, just like Uber did, go to every single city and just begin going absolutely bonkers, taking over the taxi cab industries, not even asking for permission from the cities, etc., and not even turning a profit, just to be able to get us to the place where everybody uses the app, where everybody is getting ready for the autonomous vehicle era, and to have Uber step up as the main competitor there. And potentially we'll see what happens with Tesla, because as their artificial intelligence within their autonomous vehicles is more successful right now, that they may take a larger market share actually in the autonomous ride sharing industry than even Uber does. But Snapchat in very many ways is reminding me of the style of bulldozing from 2012 onward that Uber did. So if Snapchat doubles and triples down on the innovation and the relationship with the creators here and beats out TikTok and beats out Instagram Reels and just dominates this space and gets creators paid out fast and creates a really strong support communication with creators, man, this is going to be some straight bulldozing to domination. Because this is the absolute future, is this style of payout to creators. Because it creates that mutual synergistic goal congruence. The financial reward incentive is there. It's aligned. That's the winning piece. That's the winning piece. TikTok kind of brushes creators off right now in many ways. Instagram also, aka Facebook, and even YouTube in many ways as well. Nobody has this relationship yet set up with creators like Snapchat is beginning to do. If they crush this, they're going to crush the long game. Okay, so we can go ahead and do a small demo here as well to kind of show you guys what we're talking about. All right, so what you see here is you see the general Snapchat screen. And then if you click on, in the bottom right corner, this play button, it's going to send you to the spotlight and you begin watching the spotlight videos. And so now we just watch that one again, and it's the same style functionality where you scroll up and then you see that happening. Now, if you want to and see, stuff like that, these great human achievements, that one was really, really, really fast. So now if you click on this top spotlight snaps right here, what happens is, look at this. This video that somebody took of their dog at an aquarium / zoo, where a dolphin was, if we can go back to that, where a dolphin was playing with a dog like this, earned this person $2,000 just for taking that video. This guy, I've watched this before, he cuts down this tree and he makes $4,000 from a video of him cutting down the tree. This is the guy that's also really popular on TikTok. He's the guy that's doing these like athletic feats where he's trying to throw the paper towel or the toilet paper onto that. And so he's making $3,500 from that. And there's there's more. There's this game that's played for $2,000 with Pops. There's this guy doing really incredible hockey tricks, scoring goals very accurately. And so there's all of this sort of crazy multi-$1,000 winnings and stuff. And so it's just nuts. So you can go and watch those stories, and then you can also submit, right? So if you go here, and then if you go like something like, hey guys, we're currently literally streaming to YouTube talking about how cool Snapchat spotlights are and how creators are earning $1 million a day. It's so dope, and we are so grateful for this inclusive equity opportunity. Woo! And boom. So, you have that video, and then you go, so I'm going to save that video, and then I'm just going to click this button, send to, and then from here, all you have to do is click spotlight at the top, and then you can add a topic and say, Snapchat, and then you can add another topic, and you can say spotlight, and you can say creator. And so now you just click done. There's all your topics up there. There's your spotlight. And now you just click this bottom button in the bottom right corner. And now what happens is you go to your profile, and in your profile, you can see this spotlight and snap map where you can now observe how well see up there in the top right corner, you can see my snap status is submitted, and we can re-listen to it also. We can maybe we can turn the volume up. And I'm not sure if it's just because I'm using the feature where I'm showcasing my phone screen on the computer and into the stream, but there you go. So that's a little bit of an idea of how this is working. And just so you guys have an idea of that. All right. And then now, if that spotlight video that we submitted, if it rakes in 1 million+ views, it'll pay me out $100,000 or so. That would mean each view was worth approximately 10 cents, but that's only if the viewer was to only watch one video, which is highly unlikely. So it's if they got on and they watched it and they gave me a view count and then they got off right away, which is very highly unlikely. And there's going to be a lot more competition as more people onboard, and it'll become harder to win the daily prize money. So each viewer is likely watching dozens of minutes of videos, not just one. And so they're likely creating $1+ of revenue for Snapchat since they are watching several ads while browsing. So if you're browsing on Snapchat for several dozens of minutes, what's happening is you're ingesting the advertisements that are built in, and they are selling that advertising space to different companies for pennies, if not nickels and dimes. And so you're contributing potentially dollars to Snapchat as they're selling that advertising space. And then what they're doing is when you watch the video, that's contributing to the purse of the daily $1 million. And then they are distributing that to the top viewed creators on the Spotlights page every single day. It's as simple as that. And so again, when you look at the numbers of at around 250 million daily active users, DAUs, some users won't earn Snapchat a penny in ads because all they'll do is they'll log in, they'll reply to a couple DMs, maybe watch a video and leave. But other users will earn Snapchat $10 in ads because they'll use the platform for 5 hours that day. And so you have to recognize there's this big spectrum of Snapchat use cases, from using it all day, every day, and giving them $10+ a day, versus people that barely give them 5 cents every single day that is contributing to that purse. And so Cam Casey is this 19-year-old TikToker with 7+ million followers, and I heard him first discuss the Snapchat spotlights on David Dobrik and Jason Nash's Views podcast. And that's a really good podcast. And actually, David Dobrik and the Vlog Squad in general are some of the most creative people in the sitcom vlog space and just in general that have figured out how to be entertaining and also be authentic and be fun and be playful and communicate that via video to inspire other people. And so they had a great conversation on the Views podcast about it, where Casey reported in mid-January to be making $3 million+ since Spotlight launched in November 2020. Literally in 2+ months, maybe 2.5 months, he has made over $1 million a month. That is fucking insane. So that speaks to both how few people know about Spotlight right now, but also to how much he's learning algorithmically how to create optimal content that then makes it so that he's more likely to trend on that Spotlight's page. And so the more creative you are, the more likely you're going to keep people that loop on the video and have the algorithm branch your video out to more people and trend, and then get your ability to get $1,000 or even $10,000 or $100,000 purse. And you can post about 100+ times per day. That's a lot, but then because one every 5 minutes, that means up to 12 per hour, which means a maximum of 192 per day with 8 hours of sleep. These are basically lottery ticket submissions. But the more creative you are, the more likely you are to win those lottery tickets. So it's got the creative edge to it. And so here's what you have to do. You have to go through this process of taking about 3 to 4 weeks after Snapchat Pay verification to receive the money. And what happens is, if you trend and you get into the top 100, Team Snapchat will send you a chat message notifying you, and then you have to go and confirm your email, your age, and your taxpayer verification via Hyperwallet, which PayPal bought 2 years ago for some $400 million or so. And then this is sort of what that looks like. Here I'm reading the Spotlight terms and conditions. And I actually heard from somebody, this is actually a really good point that we're bringing this up. I heard from somebody that the reason why some of these videos, like this one right here, if you see it has the TikTok watermark, this was a video that I posted to TikTok about entheogens and about specifically the incredible benefits of psilocybin. And what happened was that this got over 500,000 views on TikTok, but because it has the watermark on it, I heard that Snapchat will not allow the videos that have watermarks on them onto Spotlight. So basically what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to recreate that video on Snapchat Spotlights as well. And so that's an interesting thing, is that for the platforms that watermark the videos, because I'm pretty sure Instagram Reels does not watermark the videos, and I'm not sure if Snapchat does yet, but you can then redistribute that video if it's not watermarked across platforms. But I also heard from Connor Sherry that algorithmically, that on TikTok, if you record in the app, you actually have a higher propensity to trend than if you record outside of the app and then upload into the app, which I thought was very interesting as well. And this might even be the section: spotlights are created solely by you and do not misappropriate any third-party rights, including copyright. And there's your trademark right there. Boom, trademark. And so that's part of the equation. And then there's the revenue terms and services that we were looking at as well. And then there's just this general spotlight guidelines FAQ as well. How do you determine who earns the shares of the $1 million? And so you just have to go and read these things and try and understand that I've done a good job at parsing and synthesizing and distilling for you, but you have to go and do your own research, and you have to go and do the trial and error process. That's what biology and adaptation and fitness is all about, is how quickly can you hear Snapchat Spotlights is offering a $1 million daily prize to creators. And if you know anything about biological fitness and adaptation, the first thing you think of is, holy shit, I'm going to go learn everything about that immediately and go and begin trial and error publishing creative content so that I can earn some of these $1,000, $10,000 higher purses, and then be able to fuel that into all the other creative endeavors that I'm doing. But there is a balance between that and also the ability to simultaneously slow down and turn inward and be aware of your awareness itself and recognize that awareness is shared and that it's eternal. And this is just one creation design. This is just one expression, one dream. And that the more that you God realize that you go inward towards that infinite, towards that eternity, towards that ineffable absolute, that it makes it so that you can ebb and flow more easily between these insane daily $1 million purses that occur, and also between the ability to just slow down and to just go and bake in the sun for 10 minutes and stretch your body and know how to breathe. And that's the balance of the inward with the outward. And that's what this is all about. That's what all of this infinity expressing itself is all about. So it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get paid. Now, this is crazy because you'll have things like this 27-year-old Lowe's employee who was earning $12.50 per hour, who posted her sister deep frying a turkey on Thanksgiving, and she earned $500,000 on Snapchat Spotlight. What? Deep frying a turkey on Thanksgiving, just capturing a little 15-second video, posting that to Spotlight, and then just getting a message from Snapchat, and it's like, yo, dog, you got millions of views, and you got the largest purse so far, $500K. It's like, what? Oh my goodness. So we'll see what happens moving forward, because that was back in November. And so now in February, things have likely changed a lot, where you might even have, 50 million more people that are aware of this now, that are posting into Spotlights trying to get these purses. So fascinating. So the algorithmically curated feed of vertical video is so fascinating. It really only hit truly maybe around 2019 or something, because Musical.ly was kind of poppin', but not enough to where the planet became aware of it. In 2019, though, TikTok fucking took over. Everybody started becoming aware of TikTok. And that's what made this idea of the vertical video, whereas YouTube and all the other platforms have been horizontal video. It really popularized vertical video and the algorithmically curated For You feed, right? The For You page, right? And that's why Instagram Reels, boop, copied it right away. Snapchat Spotlight, boop, copied it right away. Even YouTube has stories now, right? Twitter has stories. Facebook has stories. All these platforms have stories now. Everybody's copying stories. And soon people are going to be copying these creator purses because they recognize that the only way to win as a media giant moving forward is to create an inclusive goal congruence with your creators and that financial incentive that makes them create content on your platform. And we have to be really smart about how artificial intelligence is playing its role in this process, because it may also be a good idea to figure out how to create the business plan at the major tech companies that are in the media space so that it's not tied to the advertisers. So it's not like Snapchat is tied to getting $500 million of advertising revenue per year or more so that it can then fund the $1 million daily purses of creators. But rather, if today I was asked, hey, will you pay $5 into Snapchat every single month? Yeah, probably. And what's interesting about that is then you create this pool that then people can create and draw from, and they don't even have to see advertisements. And by the way, there's so many ultra high net worth people around the planet. 225,000 people around the planet have more than $30 million in assets, US dollars. And to them, they can contribute $100 a month or even $1,000 a month without a problem for people that can't contribute on a monthly basis as a subscription. And so what happens is then you have these ultra high net worth people that contribute their finances to these media platforms that then make it so that we don't have to see advertisements, so that we don't have these perverse incentives with the business plans. And then you have some of this next point where with the trending dancing videos, prank videos, challenges, tutorials, education, science, spirituality, which is really what we're about on the platform. And there's none of these public like counts or comments. And you notice that when you were on the platform is that there was no public like count. That's what I was getting at earlier, is that there's no here, look, in the bottom right corner, all you see is the heart, but you don't actually see the amount of likes that it has, which is super fascinating. There's no amount of likes. A lot different than TikTok, which shows you that the person has 5 likes versus that they have 5 million likes on the video. Super interesting. And so now this leads me to the next point, which is that within this correction of the perverse incentives around the business plans and having potentially these high net worth people that contribute $1,000 per month, which they are literally trying to find trusted places to put money to maximize human potential, where all creators and not just influencers make money when these videos go viral, which is huge. Somebody with literally 0 followers that goes viral on the platform, like on TikTok, if somebody got 5 million views on their video on TikTok and they had no followers before that, TikTok keeps all of the advertising revenue. Whereas now that person is going to get $10,000 from the daily purse, which is fucking crazy. That is beautiful. That's so genius. And so what this is enabling to do is it's enabling the crowdsourcing of the planet's top creative talent around specifically the ability to compress a unique story into a 15-second video and publish that and captivate people's attention. So now what you can do is you can find, like Snapchat's going to have this record, they already do from November until February. They have 4 months of the daily top 100 creators And they are now keeping this ledger of that. It's private, only they have it right now. But what we can do is we can potentially open source that, and we can recognize who are the most creative people on the planet that are winning this most frequently. And then we can do things like enter them into these America's Got Talent style competitions as a planet and crowdsource creativity at a deeper level. So imagine like the top 10 creators that have been doing this over the last 4 months and earning the most money. Maybe they form a writing team and a production team that work together with another indie studio, or maybe with Netflix, one of the bigger studios, and they produce an animated series around something really fascinating, entertaining, thought-provoking as well. There's many different ways to do this. And so the ultra high net worth people, if they correct the perverse incentives in these business plans and help fuel these purses, what will happen is that they can potentially also get involved in the benefits. Like with the giving pledge, you get this kind of stamp of approval that you've decided that you're going to give more than 50% or more than 90% or even 99% of your billions of dollars away. And that to maximize human potential. And in this case, you can maybe get the stamp of approval for the ultra high net worth people and say that they're actually contributing to the separation of the business plan from the perverse incentives with the advertising industry. And that way we can take our attention back and we can maximize the creativity. And so they can get the little stamp of approval for that process, which is beautiful. And this is in very many ways like a massive decentralization renaissance. Again, this crowdsourcing of the planet's top talent, there's a reason why there's 2 motherfucking big ass stars there, because it's the coolest fucking shit about this. Along with these creator purses that daily happen, this crowdsourcing of the planet's top talent is, it's beautiful. And that we should open source that ledger of the daily top 100 and then accumulate the points and then put people into even more cool competitions and collaborations and play and this type of stuff. So Snapchat can become the key player if it moves fast, because TikTok will compete with these $1 million daily purses fast. And so will Instagram Reels if it's smart, and even YouTube will. The Clubhouse Twitter space conversation is nowhere near as interesting as the inclusive equity opportunity with creators on Snapchat Spotlight. This is the decentralization renaissance. It is no longer just the media platforms that have an asymmetric relationship with the creators, but now the creators are being offered these purses, and there's a more symmetric, more harmonious relationship now. Mwah, love it. And it's crazy. I was looking at this. Snapchat is also incorporating astrology into the platform. I was so surprised when I saw this. You go here and you click on this little button that's right below your name, and boom, like I'm a Libra. And it's just interesting because you would never think that YouTube or Twitter or Instagram or any of these other platforms would be like, hey, what day were you born? Where were you born? And what time were you born? And let's figure out your astrology as well. And so it's a very interesting sort of like spiritually synthesis with science and technology and engineering and artificial intelligence, is to also recognize the beauty of taking the ancient spiritual wisdoms from across the planet, which is that your celestial bodies of all sorts, the moon, the star, the especially Jupiter, Saturn, these massive planets, that they have a good amount to do with us energetically. They just do. You can't say that they don't. You can see the way that the moon affects planet Earth. You can see that the way that the sun affects planet Earth. Everything has an energetic effect on the planet. And so now we're using science to probe in to what, spiritually speaking, we've been talking about for millennia, which is so fascinating. And there's also a whole suite of other fascinating features that Snapchat has with geolocation features. Man, these are so interesting. I don't even know where I've been. I have not seen this, but you go to I think my friends. Nope. You go to this button, the bottom left button. That's right. So you go to this bottom left button and boom, what? Are you kidding me? Look at this. I had no idea that Snapchat had incorporated this feature where you're like, yo, my friends are like, hey, I'm in Kansas City right now. I'm in Denver right now. I'm in Mexico City right now. I'm in Vancouver, etc. And you can just go and zoom in and click in on them. And you can do these little heat map things. Like I can go to Vegas. I don't have any of my friends there, but I can click in on Vegas and boom, I'm watching what's trending in that area. So Snapchat is not fucking around at all. They've done a lot of really interesting features, and I don't know if you guys have seen they have a bunch of media packages that they're offering here. You can kind of see that here as well when you go to look in this Discover section. Right, there's a Snap Original. Ryan doesn't know. There's one right there. So there's a Snapchat Original. And then there's this one called Hooks and Phenoms and This Is Life and Body Talk and Hot Take and Esquire. And there's all of this type of stuff where a Bitmoji stories. And so there's all of these little like stories and there's these little media packages. And that has a lot to do also with the relationship of the financial advertisers and also with packaging these shows that are on Snapchat only, which is something unique as well. Just like Spotify was swooping up Joe Rogan and many of these other performers, is that to exclusivity, Snapchat's also trying to be exclusive. I thought it was fascinating that Quibi died. I thought that Quibi was going to become a performer in the media space, but they launched during COVID and that had its own difficulties and whatnot. But also, if you haven't seen Snapchat AR glasses, I don't know if you guys have seen these yet, but Snapchat has these really interesting augmented reality glasses where it's both like the capturing of a video through just like the click of a button and boom, it's capturing your 15-second video, but also there's an augmented reality feature on them as well. And so it's very much like trying to mirror a more kind of a less sophisticated and less computationally intensive process than Microsoft's HoloLens is. And so it's interesting, and I don't think they're that expensive either. I think they're just like a couple $100. And it looks like Snapchat teamed up with Gucci on these limited edition ones and all this type of stuff. And so they have a lot going for them, interestingly enough. I knew about the AR glasses, but I didn't actually know about those geolocation features yet. And so this is in general just a huge rebirth for Snapchat. It's a brilliant inclusive equity pioneering that they're doing, and their stonk is likely going to soar. And for those that don't know, stonk is a playful meme on stock. And so their stonk is going to soar. This is a brilliant inclusive equity pioneering that they're doing, a huge rebirth for them. Crowdsourcing the planet's top talent is so interesting. This is a huge part of the decentralization renaissance. It's pretty quick right now. It's about a month or so to get paid. Again, people reporting making $3 million over just 4 months or so. Watch that number of 250 million daily active users increase. Watch the TikTok and Instagram Reels come in as competitors with purses as well. This is huge for planetary inclusive stakeholding and inclusive equity and goal congruence. And the relationship of these platforms with their creators is just huge. And also be ready, because this is for sure going to continue increasing if Snapchat doubles down and innovates faster on this than anybody else does, and if they have the best relationship with their creators. Period. Because it's all about what is going to make the creators most happy. And that's this. It's inclusive equity, it's inclusive stakeholding, it's goal congruence, financial incentive, and alignment with creators. It's that simple. The idea of paying creators out $1 million a day in a purse for creating the best spotlight videos, genius. Genius. It's perfect. And to slowly move away from the perverse incentives around the advertising on the attention economy towards the solutions that we provided during the episode. Ultra high net worth people can come in and fuel this for $1,000 a month, which is chump change to them. And they can get the stamp of contributing to this world top tier community of talent. And we can get away from the perverse incentives around the advertising at the same time. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of the future of these media platforms and their relationship with the creators. And if it brought you value, I would love for you to like the video and subscribe if you haven't, please. It helps us so much. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Also, share the video with other people, especially so that more people become aware of this $1 million per day purse, and go and create on the platform. Leverage your biological fitness and adaptation to go and play with it. Submit several times per day onto it and see what you can do with trying to get a purse. $1,000, $10,000. How exciting is that? Again, a simple video of a turkey being fried got $500,000 back in November, but still. And remember to balance that inward, the God realization, the realization of eternity, of infinity, with the outward expression that is artistic in this finite, dreamed creation design expression. Learn how to balance those two out harmonically, because that is the nature of reality. Go all the way in to your true metaphysical nature so that effortlessly you can express yourself artistically outward. Adore you infinitely. Thank you for tuning in. Infinite love. Adore you. Thank you. May we live long and prosper.